Sunday. Our game report begins with Dick Enberg and Bob Trumpy. Hello, gentlemen.
Hi, Greg. It's a time of the year when coaches are really fascinating creatures. In fact, Ditka and Gibbs are starting to like each other a little too much. What you think? Nevertheless, Gary Switzer, one of the motivations for the Cowboys is his. He knows that if Dallas wins their final 3 games, 14-2 would be the best record in Dallas history. And don't you know Switzer, in his first year, would like to put that kick in the Cowboy record book?
Yeah, no question, Dick. He has done an excellent job here and probably won't get the just credit he deserves. He's been a damage control officer for this football team and let these players beam in, and they've responded.
He gets Aikman back.
He gets Aikman back, but Troy will wear the knee brace on the left knee. Told us that he wore it 12 hours a day at home and at practice to get used to it. Should be fine.
Bill Belichick, when he talked to us yesterday, I thought we had captured an international spy. I mean, he was drawn, tired, tight-lipped, wouldn't talk. That's that time of the year, I guess. He could keep a secret, couldn't he?
Yeah, where do you want these cards and letters sent, Dick, from the Cleveland Browns? You're right, though. Bill Belichick is a psychological guy. He likes to push buttons for his football team. They buried the loss to the Giants last week ceremoniously. He thinks his team is ready for this football team. They're not intimidated by the Cowboys.
The coaches are ready. Are the players? With more on that, Hannah Storm.
Well, Dick, you know how important pregame routine is on a big game day like this. Well, for the Cleveland Browns, they had a very disturbing incident happen. The second team bus, which was carrying a lot of the younger players like Antonio Langham and Derek Alexander, left the hotel to come to Texas Stadium. About 2 miles, they had a big accident at an intersection. Apparently, a woman broadsided the team bus. It looked as if she was very seriously injured. A lot of the players were extremely disturbed by this. They had to sit in the bus, wait for a second bus to come. They were late getting to Texas Stadium. Talked to several of the people in the bus, and they said it really put the game itself in perspective. Meanwhile, another issue for the Cleveland Browns, Michael Dean Perry, their stellar tackle. Is he going to play today? Nick Saban says it looks like he'll go with that sore back that kept him out of practice all week. However, what he doesn't want to have is to have Michael Dean Perry start the game and then have to take himself out. So he's only going to use him situationally. We should see Michael Dean Perry a lot in passing situations. That's the story from Texas Stadium. Now let's send back to Greg and the guys in the studio.
All right, Hannah, thanks very much. We keep hearing about this is a game with 2 good defenses. Joe, you say very similar defensive philosophy.
Very similar style. Don't take a lot of chances. Keep people from scoring points. A little umbrella back behind with a 7-man front. Not a lot of aggressive play. But I think it boils back down then, if the defenses are evenly matched, special teams are evenly matched, it's the offense that makes the fewest mistakes and does the best job. Cleveland has shown that they turn the ball over a lot, -5. Dallas is +9. They do a much better job of protecting the ball.
Mike, do the Cleveland Browns have to play their best game of the season today to win?
I really do. On defense, they have to play their best. I hope they put the Giant game behind them because they should have won that football game. They got to play great special teams, great defense. They got to rush the ball. The other thing they got to do, they got some hitters in the secondary. They got to hit those receivers and try to stop them from coming over the middle for the big plays.
All right, gentlemen. Troy Aikman back in the saddle in the starting job today. Ahmad joins us with more on him. Ahmad.
All right, Greg, Troy Aikman has taken a physical beating this season. Now, the last 2 weeks, the Cowboys have gotten by with backups, but there's no question that if the Cowboys are going to three-peat, it certainly won't be with Rodney Peete. The man to lead them has to be Troy Aikman.
When you first came in the league, you said that you might like to play for 15 years. Now, this is your 6th year in the league, and boy, you got a list of injuries here. Back surgery, split shins, shoulder separation, 2 knee sprains, thumbs. I mean, are you still thinking about those 15 years?
Well, actually, when I first came in the league, I said I'd play 6. We went 1-15 that year. I said I'd play 6 years, honor my contract, and I was gone. And then we started winning some games here. And then I said, you know, I'd like to play 15 years, and I still would. I think realistically I won't make it. I just don't think physically I'll be able to be a player that plays for a long time.
Is it even tougher on you because you're such a competitor, that injuries are things that you have not in your athletic career let hold you back? I mean, as soon as you're able to play, you're ready to get back on the field. Has that caused a problem?
It hasn't. I think people think that, I think they question my intelligence and question a lot of things when I have come back from injuries probably sooner than what most people would normally come back from them. I've always come back before I've been 100% healthy from an injury, but I've never come back and played when I felt that I was at risk to re-aggravate the injury. So I'm playing this week, and no, I'm not at 100%, but I feel that it will be able to withstand the punishment that it's going to take.
There are small rallying points throughout the course of a season. Could one of them be that most people talk about the championship or the Super Bowl championship goes through San Francisco now? I mean, you guys are the ones that have the trophy. I would think that it should go through here, but a lot of people are talking about it goes through there.
Well, I guess if they're talking about, you know, literally that it's going to go through San Francisco, then they're probably right. But I believe that you're world champions until someone proves otherwise. I don't want to come off as saying because we've had past success that guarantees that we're going to have future success, because I certainly don't believe that. But I think that we're still an outstanding football team, and I still think that you know, we are the team to beat. If we were to win a Super Bowl this year, not because it was 3 in a row, but I think that this one would mean maybe more than the others because of what we've had to endure and what we've had to overcome.
All right, Joe, a lot of injuries. About Aikman been in the headlines. What's your feeling on that?
Well, I'll tell you, Ahmad, I think it is a contact sport. We do have some injuries. We don't want to make light of that, but I think it's been really blown out of proportion. Guys like Aikman get hurt, a concussion. We make a big deal out of that. There's a lot more dangerous things in life than playing in the NFL. I don't think it's that dangerous. I'll tell you what, my career in coaching, most of the kids that I was around that really got hurt were in car wrecks. Today, coming to the bus gets in a wreck. You know, the Cleveland bus gets in a wreck coming to the game. There's more dangerous things in life. I think this gets blown out of proportion, the injuries in the NFL.
All right, Mike, what about as a player? Now, a lot of people say because of those 2 Super Bowl victories, this is the best big game quarterback in the game.
Well, I think he's a good one. He's not better in Montana, but he does everything the Cowboys ask him to do. Deep downfield, sidelines, ends, he does it all. And he's been resilient up to now. He's got to realize he's a quarterback of the world champ. People come after him, and they're not going to touch him or tag him. They're going to knock his block off if they get a chance. That's just part of the game.
See, I actually thought the game wasn't dangerous when I played, but now that I look at it, it could be.
You wouldn't have played if you thought it was dangerous, Ahmad.
All right, still to come on NFL Live, a holiday message from the Cleveland Browns defense.
It's better to give than receive, but we're still stingy.
And we'll hear from the Cowboys defensive leader, Charles Haley. That's all coming up on NFL Live.
Why should you insist on Raybestos brakes? Just ask NASCAR driver Jeff Burton. He drives a race car that travels at speeds up to 200 miles per hour, weighs over 3,000 pounds, and takes an extraordinary set of brakes to stop. But there is one person with even more confidence in Raybestos brakes. Roger. Raybestos, the best in brakes. For the professional installer near you, call 1-800-4-Raybestos.
Former football great Joe Theismann for Motrin IB.
Believe me, after 15 seasons as a pro quarterback, I didn't opt for the early retirement plan. But hey, I still love to compete, and I still get sore. That's when I take Motrin IB.
Clinical tests prove that 2 Motrin IB work better than 2 extra-strength Tylenol. And Motrin IB is the same Motrin doctors prescribe, but in non-prescription strength.
I'm not about to take this retirement business lying down.
Motrin IB. It's fast, it's powerful.
For me, it's the one that works.
Nice painting. What is it?
Not a very interesting piece. Reminiscent of early Dadaism.
What's Dadaism?
If he's so smart, why is he using those other batteries?
With a brain that big, you'd think he'd know Duracell batteries outlast all other brands.
Now, if...
You're right, Mom. The museum can be fun.
The Copper Top. Tops them all.
It's here. It's invading your living room. The RCA Home Theater. Big, bright, with powerful sound. For an experience so extraordinary, you won't believe your senses. It's where the future of television is taking you. Buy select RCA entertainment products and we'll send you Nipper and Chipper.
NFL Live is brought to you by RCA, changing entertainment again. By the American Express card, don't leave home without it. And by Napa, we keep America running.
Browns defensive lineman Michael Dean Perry getting set for the Cowboys. As Hannah Storm reported, he will play despite a sore back. It's been a fine year for the Cleveland defense, the toughest to score on in the NFL. Cleveland defense is masterminded by head coach Bill Belichick, who helped win 2 Super Bowls for the Giants. It's the #1 reason the Browns are 9-4 and contending in the AFC.
It's a very physical and aggressive defense. No tricks, no gimmicks, straight at you.
We try to be a stingy defense, one that doesn't give up much. We're going to be physical, we're going to be aggressive, and we're going to try to make plays.
Bill's a good defensive coach. He and I have worked long and hard to establish a nice, basic, sound system that is simple enough for these players to be aggressive in.
Members of the Browns defense have experienced success before. 3 current starters own Super Bowl rings.
That helps a lot. Those guys provide leadership in a way that they've been there and they know what it takes, and they've won the Super Bowl.
The experience that I bring to this defense certainly helps in tight situations. But it does take ability to play in this defense, and I don't think I was brought here just to be a cheerleader.
I do get a lot of questions from the guys, asking me about, what did I do in the past? What did the Niners do? What did I do when I was there?
It comes within, it's something that you just carry with you. You've been in winning situations, you know how not to overtake the situation. Hey, we won a ball game. Let's not blow it out of proportion. We're supposed to win ball games.
If the Browns are to reach 10 wins today, they must slow down the Dallas offense. And they have a message for the receivers, specifically Michael Irvin.
I'm going to hit them. I'm going to hit all of them. I mean, that's just part of the game. They're big physical receivers. They want to come across the middle. I love it. We're going to enjoy it.
I think you're going to have a very tough, aggressive type game. I think this is our how should I say it, measuring stick as far as how good the Browns are, because everybody's talking about how good the Dallas Cowboys are. So I guess the nation and everybody in the NFL will see just how good the Browns are.
Michael Dean, we keep talking about this good Cleveland defense. Mike, it's ranked 9th overall. Is it that good?
It's outstanding, really. If you look at where it should be ranked, it should be ranked #1 in points given up. And that's the real criteria of a defense. The way the NFL rates defenses is stupid. The stats really don't mean that much. I think if you look at the #1 rated defense in the NFL, it's the Cardinals right now, the Arizona Cardinals. And this is a better defense than the Arizona Cardinals, believe me.
All right, now, Joe, we mentioned it just a few moments ago. It's worth re-emphasizing. Bill Belichick is the key to it.
Belichick was trained under Parcells at New York. They developed this style of defense, one that does not take a lot of chances and it's very hard to score upon. And when you see a coach like that move over, for myself, when I became a head coach, offense is what I looked at. This guy concentrates on defense, and you've seen a steady progress. He's the key. And it's not going to leave with Nick Saban.
All right, that's the Cleveland defense. As for the Dallas Cowboys D, let's check with Ahmad.
All right, thanks, Greg. Charles Haley is the leader of the Dallas defense. He's a complex and controversial guy, but he's also won 4 Super Bowl rings, and he might become the first player to ever win 5. Jim Gray spoke with him this week.
Going to Super Bowl is just a team thing for me, and then if I happen to win 5 and be the only guy to do it, then it's great. What's important to me is that we win 3 in a row so my teammates can be part of my celebration.
Is winning the most important thing to you? Does money matter to you?
Well, money only matters when I don't like where I'm at. Winning is the most important thing. Money can substitute for a lot of things that goes on, but I just like winning, and I believe that in order to win, you have to sacrifice and you have to pay your dues.
A lot of people at times can't figure you out.
They don't need to.
Do you at times do things to antagonize people to motivate your teammates?
Well, I use every technique known to man that, all through my years. What people have tried on me, I try on other people, and
I think that you have to, because sometimes players don't realize how good they got it. And that, you know, they make a lot of money, and sometimes they don't want to work hard to make that money.
Do you thrive at times on conflict?
Conflict makes me stronger. You know, I don't care what people say about me, because most of the time, all it does, it just builds me up a little bit more, and it just builds me up inside. You know, if I could take all the adversity for the whole team, then it's not enough to keep me down.
However, there was one very down moment for Haley this season. Annoyed over an incident in the locker room with the trainer over, believe it or not, a game of dominoes, Haley bolted camp, only to be followed home by head coach Barry Switzer, who reconciled the situation.
Did you contemplate quitting football?
It crossed my mind. It crossed my mind. You know, but you know, if I quit now, if I would just quit right now, I wouldn't be hurting the Dallas Cowboys. I'd be hurting my teammates. And I made a commitment to them before the season started. I'll be with them till the end.
You don't care what your image is out there?
The images are not worth a damn, because you got to be real. If a sports writer want to write something derogatory about me, if they choose to believe that, they choose to be ignorant to the fact, then that's on them. And, you know, I can't change that.
Well, here's a quick story to tell you what kind of guy Charles Haley can be. During Super Bowl week this past January, the father of Cowboys PR director Rich Dalrymple passed away. Now, without any fanfare, Haley slipped an envelope containing a very large sum of money under the hotel room door of Rich Dalrymple. He didn't want people to know who had done it. He just wanted to help the family. So a very charitable guy, but also, Mike, a very controversial guy.
Well, I'm going to write him a letter telling him my parakeet died. Maybe he'll leave me some money. But let me tell you something about this guy. He plays harder down after down than anybody in the NFL. I make that statement, and I really believe that. He is the nucleus of that defense. He makes it go. He is so energized. He's a great pass rusher. He makes those other guys play up to his level.
Joe?
I think the fact that his production, to me, is more amazing, Ahmad, is the fact there's not a great star pass rusher opposite him. So what happens is offensive coaches like myself, when we played against him, I kept a tight end or a back over there, and the guy still has those sacks, over 10 sacks.
And you know what's amazing to me? Those 4 Super Bowl rings, of which I have none.
It's not a big deal, Ahmad.
Okay. Up next, Will McDonough joins us with his news and notes from around the NFL. There's Emmitt Smith of the Cowboys getting set for the Browns, and NFL Live continues right after these messages.
The reason American Express and Share Our Strength are doing Charge Against Hunger again is it works. American Express card members did something that's never been done before, and it's made a big difference. It doubled the size of the hunger relief activities that our organization was involved in. Some of our problems are bigger than government, they're bigger than politics, and they're going to require all of us to get involved. If you can look into the faces of little kids as I have and seen the difference that it's made in their lives, you'd say, yeah, we got to do Charge Against Hunger again.
Every time you use your American Express card, you'll help provide a meal for someone who's hungry. So help raise another $5 million, because from now until December 31st, the Charge Against Hunger is on again.
We're not going to end hunger overnight, but we can over time.
You know, an apple sitting around too long, it goes bad. It's the same thing with a new battery. It loses power waiting to be bought. That's why at Interstate, we're constantly checking our batteries to make sure they're fresh, so that you don't end up with a bad apple.
Panasonic camcorder tapes play in your VHS recorder. Not all camcorders can do that. If anyone tells you that's not important, they're giving you a snow job. Get the Panasonic Palmcorder camcorder or take your chances.
Panasonic, just slightly ahead of our time.
Over the years, this field has seen a lot of great eras. Things that made farming simpler and easier. Horses pulling moldboard plows. The legendary tractors of the 40s and 50s. Self-propelled combines. Now, there's another new era with the Broadstrike Weed Control System. Like all great eras, Broadstrike makes farming simpler and easier. Broadstrike, it's a whole new era.
About 10 minutes to game time in Dallas. The Browns come in at 9-4. The Cowboys are 11-2. Vinny Testaverde getting set for what should be a tough game against one of the league's best defenses. For the Browns to go deep into the playoffs, Testaverde has got to make some big plays and avoid those interceptions. Once again, here's Greg Gumbel.
All right, Ahmad, our Saturday games mean a double weekend helping of Will McDonough's news and notes. Will joins us from Foxborough, where he will cover tomorrow's Colts-Patriots game. What's the latest, Will?
Well, Greg, it's very questionable whether Marshall Faulk will be able to play here tomorrow, because I talked to his coach, Ted Marshall-Broder, this morning, and you know, Faulk has not practiced all week. He's had tonsillitis and the flu. He spent 2 nights in the hospital, but he got released this morning. However, it was snowing in Indianapolis this morning, so Marshall-Broder did not let him practice with the team. What they will do is bring him here to Foxborough, and Marshall-Broder feels he's okay to play. After working him out Sunday morning, they'll let him play against the Patriots. Let's move on to Denver and John Elway. I talked to Wade Phillips and asked him, will John play this Sunday? He said John has not gotten any work in practice this week. The backup, Hugh Millen, has taken all the snaps, but what they will do before the Raiders game tomorrow, John will tell Wade if he feels he can play and start. If he can play, he will start. Let's move on to Kansas City, where Joe Montana is a question mark. I talked to his coach, Marty Schottenheimer. He says Montana's worked out lightly this week, but what they will do is 3 hours before kickoff, Monday night in Miami, Montana and Schottenheimer will go out in the field, and if Marty is convinced that Joe can move all right and throw all right, Joe will start Monday night against the Dolphins. Here's a surprise. Don Shula will still have a shot at getting the record for the most regular season wins in that game. Shula, even though he had surgery this past week for a severed Achilles tendon, will come to the game and will be there on crutches looking for the record number 319. For months, college football fans have been arguing who's the best college quarterback in the country. Steve McNair from Alcorn State. Is it Eric Zaya from Georgia? How about the Collins boys, Kerry from Penn State or Todd at Michigan? Well, here's the pros' view of it. The surprise, number 1, Chad May of Kansas State. Here is the top 5 selected this week by the Blesto Scouting Combine. If you notice one thing, Greg, you're not on there.
Yeah, and that's a slight, because I've thrown fewer interceptions than any guy on that list. Let's talk about this Denver Raiders game. Mike, first of all, which John Elway are we going to get in this game?
Well, it doesn't matter which one you got. You got one that's not 100%. His deal is mobility. If he doesn't have it, he's got a problem. And I believe the Raiders are coming to start playing football at this time of year. They're playing better than they've played all year. The Broncos got no chance.
Okay, the Denver Broncos started 0-4. The difference in their game has been defense.
Yeah, considering Elway's going to play and does his job, defense is where they made the big improvement. 0-4, okay, those first 4 weeks, they gave up over 34 points a game. Last 9 games, with 7 of those being wins, they've only given up 18 points a game. So the defense is the key for them to keep going, considering Elway's okay.
All right, that Denver Raider game, we'll have it here tomorrow. The early NFL game today was at the Meadowlands. Detroit Lions beat the New York Jets today, 18-7. Barry Sanders rushed for 127 yards. The Lions moved their record to 8-6. The Jets are 6-8, losers of 3 straight, and all but eliminated from playoff contention. We're back with our picks of the week in just a moment.
Your doctor said, what? Listen, if you're a woman and you get heartburn, should you take these, which have aluminum and magnesium, or should you take Tums Ultra with calcium?
A dose of Mylanta regular strength has this much neutralizing power. Regular Maalox this much. But Tums Ultra has more neutralizing power.
And gives you calcium. Something your body needs anyway. If you're not sure, ask your doctor.
Ultra.
It's up to you. All you have to do is brush your teeth. No brush, no story.
With fax, voicemail, speakerphone, and an integrated CD-ROM system,
Daddy, let's do this book tonight.
the compact Presario will let you do things that may have seemed impossible before.
She brushed?
This holiday season, more people will trust Napa to keep their vehicles running and to help them save, too. Pick up this Napa toy truck with battery-operated powerboat for just $16.99. A 56-piece home tool set, only $29.99. And a Turtle Wax gift pack for a low $7.99. So stop by your nearest Napa Auto Parts store today. You never know who you'll run into.
We keep America running. We keep America running.
What are you getting little Al for the holidays? He's growing by leaps and bounds. Remember his size this week? No? Better come into Radio Shack. We have hundreds of the gifts kids want most. And besides, with a gift from Radio Shack, there's no question. One size fits Al. Radio Shack. You've got questions, we've got answers.
The Pick of the Week is brought to you by American Honda, who has been ranked #1 in overall owner loyalty by RL Poll for 4 years in a row. Joe Gibbs looks like a playoff contender. He leads by a game and a half. We'll have this week's picks right after this message from Honda.
Uh-oh.
What is it?
Nothing. Excuse me.
Don't you just love the wind through your hair?
What I have left.
With only one game to pick today, some very boring picks. Everybody likes the Dallas Cowboys, and well, knowing how well this group picks, that could be good news for the Cleveland Browns. You and Will are at opposite ends of the spectrum.
Did Will misunderstand? Did he think they were supposed to pick the most losers?
Yeah, but we're all in trouble. We'll pick the Cowboys, too. We'll probably all lose.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but how close did he come to picking the Cleveland Browns today?
He was close. He was close.
He was wavering.
Hey, one thing I know, I am whooping up on Will McDonough.
We'll see you at halftime with Bob Costas' conversation with Ken Norton Jr. Enjoy the battle coming up between the Cleveland Browns and the Dallas Cowboys.
Celebrate Christmas early with Bob Hope, Tony Bennett, your favorite TV stars, the AP All-America team, the funniest moments from the past 40 years. Bob Hope's all-new Christmas Wednesday.